Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another episode of Don't Talk If You Don't Know, the unofficial, official podcast dedicated to all things high-level teamfight tactics in North America, at least. My name is Frodan. I am your host, as always, joined by Bryce once again, who is not just a person that, of course, covers high-level TFT, but also competed in the Freljord Cup. Bryce, how you doing, man? How's your weekend?
I went dead last, but it was fun. My weekend was great. I played and it was terrible, but I had fun anyway. And I definitely could have played better. I could have been a lot better prepared. The meta shifted so fucking much. Oh my god, it was a complete different game weekend 1 to weekend 2. And I also didn't high roll. Like I didn't get any of the giga broken stuff to be able to just get free W's, which is kind of important in that meta. So I don't know. I'm glad I competed. I had a lot of fun with my friend. My friend was a total homie and let me take a little break from hanging out with him to play for 6 hours. But so otherwise I was just hanging with my family and my best friend from college. It was a really fun weekend.
Awesome. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we recap the Freljord Cup in total, but we also are joined by the winner of the Freljord Cup, racking another dub to his resume. It's Team Liquid's Kurumx. Kurum, welcome back to the show. How was your weekend, buddy? Pretty damn good, right?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, winning is fun, so.
A lot more fun than losing, that's for damn sure.
When was the last time you won the previous tournament? Because the cup that came to mind was like Summit, but I was thinking about official cups, which was going back to regionals. There had to have been something else between them, but I wasn't sure. So was this your first win since regionals in an official circuit?
Yeah, besides Summit, it's my first win. Winning a TFT tournament is fucking hard, man. It's fucking hard. Okay, getting to final day, I think consistently is not that hard if you're a beast. But dude, winning is fucking hard. You have to run good, you have to run hot, and you have to play hot. You have to be everything has to fucking align.
Okay, wait. Yeah. I want you to rate your play on a 1 through 10 scale, and then rate your luck on a 1 through 10 scale.
I mean, I played for Giga Top 4. Okay, because it's a real world meta, right? I probably played more forecasts than most of the players in the tourney. So most games I was playing Giga Top 4, and then if I just get a fucking free win gifted to me, fucking Darius Katarina box, I'll play for first, you know? So I don't know. I had probably three fucking games gifted to me final day out of 7. So that's pretty fucking lucky.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I know. I was looking over. I was Kurum has Darius 3 at
4-1. Yeah.
But it wasn't nearly as crazy as some other stuff that I saw, like a Z3 on 3-2 by Robin. Robin, you also had a crazy. What do you react to that? It was a crazy ass high roll, was it not?
No, it wasn't even high roll, dude. I had 1,000 gold. It's normal. It's normal variance.
Sure. Robin, how was your weekend? How you've been moving? A lot's been going on from you. Actually, people weren't even sure how informed you'd be because of how busy you are IRL. So second's an amazing result for you again.
Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty busy, but I feel I always have time for TFT. So man, the people saying yeah, dude, Robin's out of form. They always say I'm out of form. Okay, if I have low,
bro, they said the same shit about me. They said the same shit.
You said the same shit about you.
I'm allowed to say that. They're not allowed to say shit. I'm allowed to say that about myself. It's fine.
Hey,
who was saying that? Who was saying that?
You're on the show with the Believers, by the way. Dan drafted you in fantasy, Kurum, and I drafted Robin in fantasy.
Oh, I got Kurum for half price. I was willing to go double the amount of price, but people just stopped.
Wait, Bryce, I thought you were not a believer. Wait, who's believing? Who's
believing? I carried Bryce's team. I had half of Bryce's team's points, I think.
Yeah, true. Wajin and Pocky both day one.
Dude, Wajin, after day one, what was your reaction?
Fuck?
What was your reaction? You're what the fuck?
So I didn't watch at all, right? Because I was playing day one. So we got to the end. Dan was one point in the middle of the day, Dan was trash talking fantasy. My fantasy team's so good. And I was bro, I have no idea what's happening in fantasy. I'm paying zero attention, but good for you. And then I got to the end of the day, and Pocky went actual dead last. And then Wajin busted too. I can't believe that. I thought they were both going to do so well.
Okay, he didn't go dead last. Emily Wang, unfortunately, as I'm bringing it up on the screen. 11
Wait, Bryce,
points.
you didn't even do that bad. You said you went dead last.
And I had to swing for the fences too because I had to go top 3.
Wait, you doubled Emily's points.
Oh,
You
take those.
you outplaced Pocky and Clear.
My God. Yeah.
Bro, I thought you went actual dead last, and you said you went dead
No, I
last.
didn't. It felt like it though. It felt like it.
I mean,
Wait, really? I feel like getting to day 3 is pretty fucking good.
Oh, I was really happy with that part. I just
Yeah.
I was just bummed because I felt like I was in really good form and I was super confident, felt like I had a ton of edge in the opening weekend. And if we had played the same patch, I think I actually could have hung. But when the patch happened and then like 2 days into playing it, I was like, this is not my style of patch. I don't know any of these lines, so I'm like desperately trying to catch up. I was super busy at work because we had the week off beforehand. So I just like I was basically really confident the first weekend, and I had no confidence going the second weekend. So it just kind of felt bad, you know?
Yeah, I feel that.
do you feel so, Bryce? You've competed in a lot of TFT events now. Where does this rank in terms of the amount of pressure? Because this is the farthest you've been in an official competition since getting an invite to like the Cloud9 Set 3 regional qualifiers, but you also almost spiked, but that was also a smaller field of 16 players, something like that. So
Oh, I threw that one. I like giga through that event. I choked super hard. I mean, going into day 3, I was so I'm usually pretty nervous playing in tournaments, to be totally candid. Like it is not something I'm super used to, and I feel an enormous amount of pressure from people to not like. I think that a lot of my I feel like it impacts my credibility as a caster, and so I don't want to flame out. And then I also just put a lot of pressure on myself to perform. So I'm normally pretty nervous. Like actually, normally when I play in these TFT tournaments, like the most nervous I ever get. And then going into day 3, I was like infinitely more nervous. But I actually think game 1 was probably my best game played of the day.
Nice.
Like I took a second in a low roll game. Like I think I played awesome that game. I took second with like a standard challengers board stuck at level 7. I like giga sweated positioning. I rolled down a bunch of times. Like I think I played that game well. So I was super nervous going in, but I'm not sure nerves was my issue, to be honest. I think my macro was pretty bad. I think I doomed a couple of games by committing to the wrong line, and I didn't hit in terms of augments and didn't hit in terms of units either.
yeah, Kurm had a game like that too, where he looked like he was kind of doomed, and he kind of made it work on 7 and then brought it all the way back for a lot of seconds and thirds. And I feel like that was a really underrated part of the meta in general. In fact, that was like a big thing of why people underestimated Kurm, right? Kurm, like people were like, it's a reroll meta. Players like Kurm are not reroll. I mean, Robin's not exactly known as a reroll player either, but he's totally fine. But when you hear that, do you feel like that you're like, okay, that actually makes sense, I'd agree with it? Or do you feel like fired up because you're like, wait, how dare you? Like, you think I can't play in this kind of meta? Like, what goes through your head, Kieran, when you hear this kinds of criticisms?
I mean, it's more like, I mean, like, okay, like Twitch chat especially, like people always speak in like hyperboles, right? Just because it's a reroll meta doesn't mean you literally can't fucking click a 4-cost unit. Yeah, so it's like, I think it's just, I mean, it's just like, shush!
His dog's name is Twitch Chat, apparently. Robin, as Kurm handles that, can you respond?
Oh yeah, okay. So like, okay. So who is a good reroll player to you guys?
A good reroll player.
The person who flamed out is PockyCom.
Pocky's a good reroll player.
I consider Milk to be a good reroll player as well.
Let's pull up the list.
Like, what does a good reroll player mean? Like, they're willing to go
good reroll players find I would say there's a bunch of things to it. Okay, so a good reroll player knows how to build a board, kind of a fluid board state along the way. A good reroll player understands the important conditions of the comp, like what makes the comp work. They understand like when you can greed and when you have to roll deep. Like I think, for example, that when Milk was a 2020 Cledge player, I think that the true skill Milk expressed is his deep understanding of his power relative to lobby power. So sometimes he would say that this board is stable and it looked weak and it was stable, and sometimes he would say this board isn't stable and it looked strong because he knew he needed to get stronger with what was going on in the lobby. So that's just some of the things that are, make a good reroll play. I think comfort on a bunch of the different reroll lines, so you're not like, listen, if you just knew how to play KO going into this tournament, that was problematic, just knowing to play KO. But if you could play KO and all the other reroll lines, that probably makes you a better reroll player. So there's still plenty of room to express skill and reroll. It's just a lot less than obviously.
Wait, would you guys consider Solus a good reroll player?
Probably.
I would consider him a scary one in tournament. I don't know if I want to be in a lobby with Solus and I open up a Zed box and I realize that Solus also is in this lobby.
Bro, Disho was unaware. He was unaware, bro. You know Solus? He played 3 games. Solus played 3 games of like flex. His first 3 games, he went like 6.5 average placement. He didn't play a single non-Zed game for the entire tournament after that. So when Disho was unaware of this fact. When Disho looked at Solus' spot, he saw Rod tier belt. He said, "There's no fucking way this guy is gonna play Zed." And Solus just fucking sends it on 6 and hits Z3, and Disho goes dead last, and then I win the tournament.
Yeah, Solus,
That's why you won. Oh my god.
Helped me and Kurumx actually. Like he just like fucked Dish Soap basically. And, yeah, I just go to Dish Soap's VOD and then I go to. Dude, he got so fucking tilted, but I love listening to him all though. Like it's refreshing kind of.
Okay, wait. I had an idea for Dish Soap stream because I think he's a legendary molder too. I pitched him on this. I was like, Dish Soap, you should have different overlays. You should have like DEFCON levels for your stream. So as your like mold levels go up, you have like different overlays. Because sometimes he gets so moldy that like anyone says anything to him, it doesn't even have to be that bad, and he just starts banning them left and right. Right.
Well,
so
it's like therapeutic, you know?
Yeah, it's like exactly.
Yeah,
so it's
he
like
loves banning.
what if you went to Dish Soap stream and it was like mold level 5 and it was like all red all over the place and he's just banning people left and right, and he gets a first, he's like, okay, we can go back down to 4 now. He gets another first, okay, now we're down to a 2 kind of vibes. Like I think it'd be really funny.
Like it.
It's like GTA, like the police or the stars.
Yes, exactly. So that way, because I was like, Dish Soap, when I go to your stream, I want to know immediately where we're at in the mold spectrum. That's valuable to me.
That's too funny. I wasn't aware that's why he went 8th. I remember he said that he had like a spot where he thought he was good for Zed, and then someone contested him.
I mean, he would have been good. Yeah, if it was uncontested, he would have been good.
I'm pretty sure he's supposed to win. He's supposed to win the tourney, but like he went 8th that one game with like Solus just like griefed him, and literally Solus just griefed him because like Solus is not supposed to play Zed from that spot, and then the other game he went 8th as well with like Darius Gold Collector from like a really good spot. I guess he just missed. I don't know. But yeah. I think he said that like he couldn't get like the stacks rolling like in time type of thing, just like a classic like fall behind the curve with Noxus.
Is Gold Collector good on Darius? I've done it before.
Only from way ahead. But like if you are way ahead, then yes.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Solus, by the way,
there's no one else to put it on if you're actually angling Noxus. That's the problem.
Yeah. That makes sense. Especially if you're playing like total domination or whatever, it makes it much worse. Solus, by the way, you did mention that he like didn't play a non-Zed game for the rest of the tournament. He started off like 6, 7, 8, and then he went 1-1-2 to qualify for day number 3 and made like a huge comeback again. Didn't make to the final 16, but he missed out on tiebreakers to Prestevent, who narrowly slid in, which brought us to our top 16 and finally our top 8. And then Kurumx, I guess like, as you're going through this, you didn't bot for the entire game. You said that you felt like you were getting lucky, but at the same time, I kind of want to know what was going through your head. Did you realize you had won the tournament? Were you like kind of taking it easy? Were you feeling nervous at all?
No, I didn't feel nervous at all. I mean, I don't know. It felt really easy to top 4 for some reason. So I was just like playing strong boards on stage 2, and usually it was just good enough to top 4 as long as I didn't like completely troll later, like troll my transition or something. Like, I mean, it was already a guaranteed top 4. And then like the spots where I can actually play Noxus, like I can just go fucking Giga top 2 because this comp is so broken. So I mean that was basically my strat. I played 0 KL, and I was willing to play Zed, but every single fucking time I call Zed, it drops me like a belt, and then someone like commits Zed, and I just have to pivot. So I don't think I played like any Zed either. So I just played a lot of Azir, a lot of Noxus. Did I even play anything else? I don't fucking remember.
You played Challengers.
Oh yeah, I played Challengers.
I went through your VODs, yeah. All right. Question to Robin. Out of all so you Kurumx dished up top 3. Out of the people 4th through 8th, who was the most impressive players that were with you in the final lobby?
4th through most impressive? 4th through 8?
Another player that you want to call out of like who had a good performance that didn't necessarily like win or top 3.
Okay, well, I didn't watch any of their games. I just know probably DQA. because DK always does well every single tournament. He's pretty underrated. I feel like, dude, I feel like Kurum is underrated. I feel like okay, Bishop was not underrated because everyone thinks he's the best.
Yeah.
But I feel like
Yeah.
Kurum is underrated. I feel like I'm underrated, and I feel like DK is underrated. And
I feel like you're pretty rated.
dude, every time at like the Don't Talk If You Don't Know like rankings, like I'm always like freaking like 8, 9, 10 or something. But I feel like, and it's so DQ is also pretty low too, and you're pretty low too, Kurum. But I feel like us three, we do so well every single tournament.
Is
Why
that
do you think that is?
I mean,
wait. Well, okay, yeah. Let's start with asking why that is. I agree.
Why, Robin? Why do you think people are underrating you? Out of curiosity.
They just watch me stream and they watch me play, and and I'm like an idiot sometimes, and like I do stupid plays, but then they just think I'm bad because they just watch me play on stream.
Okay,
I feel like I'm actually one of the players that do significantly worse on stream. So like Box Bootcamp, I play a lot of games off stream, and I think that's the difference. Because when LP doesn't matter, I play every single game on stream. I don't play a single game off stream, like rarely. And I feel like I have really bad like I can't multitask and stuff. So like I feel like me reading chat actually like affects me more than other players, and I think it's because
did you play off stream today?
Yeah, I did. Usually like Box Bootcamp, I play on stream, and when I get off stream, I play like infinite off stream till like 6 a.m. or something, and then I go to bed and stuff.
Damn. Well, there you go. Those are the strats. That actually makes sense because Dishop did the same thing too, and that's why
I know you've been popping off like every tourney lately, so like people like didn't
they
people,
rated me
you on fantasy like hella like for a lot of money.
They rated me pretty well like the last Don't Talk If You Don't Know for like last set.
Regional.
That was the only time though. I was like ranked 3 or something, right? I was like the highest I got.
I'm looking. So you were 3 on that one. You were Robin. You were 2nd on the one before that.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I mean, second's pretty high, man.
The one
I mean, okay.
The one before that,
He's underrated at second, Bryce. Don't you know?
You were 6th. The one before that. I was surprised when you said that you're always in the 8 to 10 range. I think that you're
underrated.
I think that your default is somewhere in the 5 to 8 range, and then there are metas that are better for you, and/or times where people perceive you to be in better form, and then you wind up in the top 3. I don't think you've never been 1 before. That's for sure true. But I'm surprised. It's interesting that you have a chip on your shoulder because I agree with what Kurum said. Like your underrated list, I think Kurum does get slept on. I think DQA does get slept on. I'm not sure that you do, but it's interesting that you feel like you do as a player. Do you think it's because you're not often mentioned in the same conversation when people are listing like here's the best player in North America? Do you think that your issue is that you feel like you belong in that conversation, but you're not putting it often enough?
Yeah, probably. Like everyone's like, oh yeah, dish soap sets go gap, and then dish soap sets go Wasian gap. And then like Wasian Pocky Gap, and then like like even like Pocky Gom gets put up there sometimes, but like I never get put up there, so yeah, that's probably why. But also like probably like I think when I was ranked like 2nd and 3rd, those are the only 2 times I was ranked pretty high, I think. And
well,
then,
you went up around like 4, 5, 6, a decent amount, but it depends what you call pretty high. I think there's only 2 times you've been in the top 3.
I feel people treat Robin as like the gatekeeper to the elite. It's like people ranked above Robin is usually where they put like where they think is in peak form and a threat to to actually be the favorite winning the tournament. And then Robin's always like the first person in the tier below, which I think is underrating him.
I mean, you know why it is? It's because like me and Robin, like we don't have like a super flashy playstyle.
Yeah, you're not flashy at all. You're just solid. You guys are.
And then you have players like Clear that just like refuse to play stage 2. And then they say like Robin has like a lower cap as a player because he plays for top 4 and Spotty needs to play for top 4, whereas Clear will literally never play for top 4 no matter what.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, that's just being bad. Like, like that's not like being a first-rate player. Like that's just playing incorrectly. So I don't know. Like sometimes you just have to fucking cut your losses and go forth. Like it is like just because like it's not flashy doesn't mean it's not correct. I don't know.
This is an area where I think I think 2 or 3 sets ago, the 2 of you were almost identical stylistically, where you both essentially tried to play from ahead no matter what in stage 2. You were just constantly tempoing out and trying to play for top 4. I think Robin has shifted his game quite a bit. Like, Robin, correct me if I'm wrong. You're still a top 4 oriented player for sure. You're still really solid. But I feel like when I watch you today versus when I watched you a year ago, you're way more comfortable playing from loss streak early than you were, and you're more willing to go for top one oriented outs if you think that you're in a spot for it. Now, that doesn't mean you're always going to be in a spot for it, and maybe you're always going to lean a little bit more top four oriented, but I think you're a little bit more versatile stylistically than you used to be. Is that true?
I feel like I actually learned something about the game every set. Like, I feel like I'm improving every set. And looking back, like, I definitely used to overslam items for no reason.
Yep.
You know, like I overslam items for no reason when it has no value on my board. A lot of times I used to 3-1 level and roll, you know, a lot of times when you don't really need to. A lot of times I have two pairs and I think it's good to roll, you know, and then like after watching like Setsuko and Dish Soap more, I finally understand the game a little bit more, you know, like back then I think I play for top four and I get a fourth and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a beast, I got a fourth, right? But then like when your spot, the AVP is supposed to be like 2, you know, then you played incorrectly, right?
Yep.
Like back then I just thought like top 4 like is a win, right? Not always. So I think I'm just learning something every set, just getting better as a player. So yeah, definitely changing a lot in my game and like noticing like what my weaknesses are and like I'm working on them.
Yeah, I think it shows for what it's worth. I think you're a much better player today than you were when I first started watching you however long ago. Kurm, how about you? Because I feel like you've improved a meaningful amount as well. Do you feel like you're kind of scaling up set over set, or do you feel like your level of play has been pretty consistent throughout kind of your peaks in your career?
Oh no, I mean I feel like I learn like more and more every set as well. Like finding you know the like the hardest part about TFT is like the balance between like overrolling and underrolling and just finding like that perfect balance where like you're supposed to sit and where you're supposed to roll and where you're supposed to push and where you're supposed to chill. Like it's like really hard to like play that spot perfectly. And I mean I've definitely had spots where like, oh, my fucking carry has like a bunch of dead items and like I should roll to 0, but then like I'll just sit and then like vice versa. So I mean I feel like I'm just getting better and better like every set. And a lot of that is not really through playing the game, it's more like watching the game. Like I honestly think like players like Dishop are just making the region like a lot stronger than like like almost like by himself. Like, you know, like watching him play and like comparing your play to his play and just like figuring out like understanding why he does like certain things. I don't know, like I do feel like I improve a lot by watching other players, and I've probably learned the most from Dishop. So
he said that he, in terms of the study group prep, as we transition to a little bit of a slightly different topic, is that he like lets you guys quote copy his homework. What does that mean?
What? He like tries to keep an edge. What do you mean?
Bro, this guy released stuff to Twitter before the study group. Like he doesn't like he shared his little tweet thing like what's gonna be OP next patch. He didn't even say a word in the study group.
I mean, it's fun to talk about as a study group, but I don't perceive you guys to be much of an actual study group.
I mean, to be honest,
you guys
like,
actually talk
outside
about
of like it's like when you turn your fucking homework in like last minute, right? Like
yeah,
outside of like literally like 1 or 2 days before the tournament, like no one fucking like discusses shit.
I mean that's like very different. Like
we're not trying to like I think like the other group is trying to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on ladder. Like who gives a fuck? Like it's ladder, man. Like all of us can fucking like play top 10, top 5 like anytime we fucking want. No.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure all that matters is like winning tournaments, going to worlds, and winning worlds. Like those are like the only things that matter.
The thing is, last set, Dishop actually, or like we actually talked a lot more, and then I think Dishop realized that like we're all competitors, and like he is giving his edge away by you know, like studying with other people kind of. Also, like our group is just like it's way too many people now. Like it used to be like 3 or 4, now it's like 6, and that's literally like that's like 1/3 of like regionals, low key. Yeah. So like he's definitely talks a lot less now. But I think when regional comes, like we'll definitely talk a lot more. Like I think when the important tournaments start happening, like we'll definitely like talk a lot more and be in call. But like these small tourneys, like we just ask like 1 or 2 questions, like, you know, maybe get in call 1 or 2 times. It's not that like we don't do that much.
Me, Solus, and Dishop just like played in call for like 3 hours before day 1 or day 3, and I think that's like all we really did.
I call this group, Bryce, the NA Avengers, because they all just disperse to their own corners, but they just like meet up very briefly for like one mission, which is like the tournament, and then they go their separate ways. If you compare and contrast that with some of the other study groups who just talk all the time, every day, multiple times a day, if not just straight up backseating and improving each other.
This morning, when Soju woke up to start his stream, he goes, "Okay, anyone got me with Spark Notes? How come I wake up no Spark Notes? Hello, at here. Any Spark Notes? At Milk. At here. At everyone.
For what? Wait, for what though? Like, I don't care. Like, I don't get it. Like, this study group is only playing for
basically
for
like
Twitter screenshot. No, like the tournament's not even on the patch. Like, just play the game, right? Like, who cares?
Yeah, I think what he wants is like hey, tell me what the meta is. Like, give me the high level download, right? It's not information that.
Oh yeah, but like, it's not like anyone really knows, right?
Yeah, but listen. If you fell asleep and you woke up to the new patch and you were trying to figure out what would you say to someone, I would tell them like invokers broken.
Oh yeah. You can
Taric broken. Sure. Auction's still really good, right? Like,
I just mean like, is he trying to like assemble the fucking troops to like?
No. He just wants the Spark Notes. But then in the lead up to the event, yeah, they would assemble the troops constantly and like try to play together and talk about stuff. I think they do a lot more active prep than you guys do, and that's true.
I think so too. But I mean, outside of like tournament patches, I doubt we're really gonna fucking talk much. But we're all friends, so like. We'll randomly just go in Discord and fucking jerk off together, but like we're not gonna fucking like we're not gonna like go in depth about like meta strategies and stuff. Like we all have our own play styles and like our own like convictions around TFT, right? So like just because TFT or just because like I say like or I guess a better example is like just because Dishop says something doesn't mean that it becomes like the word of fucking God. Like you still fucking disagree with them and say like good take, you're fucking trash. So I mean like we all have like our own convictions over like other shit. So I mean
I love it.
Outside of tournament days, yeah, we don't really do much. So
I just want to know who's Captain America in this group and who's Iron Man. That'd be who's who? Robin, who's
I'm Captain America.
Okay. Excellent. And then Curran, what does that make you?
Iron Man.
Sure.
Who's the weakest one? Who's like the weakest Avenger member? That's DQA.
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
All right, DQA's Hawkeye.
It's like a normal dude who can shoot well.
Is there like an Avenger that like can also like grief his teammates? Because that's soulless. Like who would
the Hulk
like Nebula
who becomes like an unstable actor in this space? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's fucking soulless. Like he's unpredictable and like he can just randomly grief you for no fucking reason, even though he's supposed to like be your teammate or whatever.
I got some testimonies from players. I usually like to ask players for quotes about how they did performance. We mentioned DQA, so I'm just going to read his quote. Anybody feel free to react and we can move on. DQA says, overall, I think I was really happy with my play, even though my set started off pretty rough because I'm off school. Currently, I've dedicated a lot of time to watching and playing. I think if I was just slightly cleaner, I could have won the whole event. This is the first tournament in a while where I felt this motivated to play and learn all the lines. I also think the day 4 lobbies were really nuts this time. Almost everyone you expect to make day 4 made it. Big congrats to Curran, Robin, Dishop. I think they all were really good going into it. Our study group clears. DK went on to, after this, say that he feels particularly motivated because of the December land. He wants to like really try hard for it. So I thought that's really cool. I've never really seen DK really motivated. Yeah, but like set 9 like is like a seed qualifier for it, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is? Wait, set 9 matters for his land?
They haven't announced exactly what it's going to be, but there's going to be some kind of priority registration for people who have had a certain level of performance. So it kind of like guarantees your spot.
Okay, do we need
to do you know if they're flying anyone out? Like if I get rank 1 or something, they'll fly me out? Or no?
I kind of doubt that they spend money on flying out NA players. It would not surprise me if they flew out people from other regions in order to get like more representation.
Fuck.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see. Time can only tell.
On the DQA point, so I talked about it on our first show that I'm excited to see DQA motivated and trying it because I think I completely agree with what Robin said. I think DQA is ridiculously underrated. I think the number of top you guys could both be underrated. I could buy that, but you guys aren't like you don't get memed in the same way. I think there's people put a lot of respect to both of your names and fear you appropriately in tournaments. DQA is constantly, like, his gameplay is looked down upon by a lot of elite players, and I have no idea why. I think if you actually watch DQA when he's playing well,
I think it's just because he's quiet. Like he's
quiet and
he doesn't stream much.
He's young.
Like,
it's because he's young. It's because he's actually no.
Like he's super busy with like real life shit.
Yeah,
like,
he's
me
busy
and
with real
Robin,
life.
we can just stream like every day, and like it doesn't matter. Like,
you guys devote, something like 80% of yourselves to TFT, and he dedicates like 10% of himself to TFT, and his consistency of performance is fucking bananas when you think about how little percentage of his time he actually puts into TFT. I rated him 6th going into the event. I'm not at all surprised to see him doing this well. I think
he plays so much Valorant. So of course he's gonna get fucking memed. Like he plays so much fucking Valorant.
Yeah. So, his skill ceiling, right? When we talk about like the elite of the elite, I think his skill ceiling is at that level. I really do.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, I have another quote from another player in the top 8. It is Jack, it's his quote first competitive set where he's taking seriously. A lot of people say that when they have their good performances.
Bro, it's always everyone's competitive set. As soon as they pop off,
as soon as they pop up. Oh, it's the first time I'm taking seriously. I know. We've heard that. D-Pay said the same thing last set.
It's my first time taking seriously as well.
Yeah. Oh wow! So you went first in Box Boss Bootcamp and second in Freljord Cup. So impressive, man.
This guy won a regional.
The first tournament I took seriously since Set 4, actually, since I won Set 4 regionals.
It was funny because it was funny. Okay, just as a small note before I read Jack's quote, is that when Robin went 1-1-1-5-1-1 at Set 5 regionals, we nominated him for Esports Rookie of the Year when he'd been competing since like Set 3. So it was like a year and a half, and we're like, all right, whatever. Robin get nominated for it. So yeah, there you go. TFT, the first time you do really well is when you took the set competitively.
It was clear they were taking it seriously for the first time. That's why we had to make sure he got Rookie of the Year nom.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. Let's do this Jack quote real quick. Rookie. He said, I was satisfied overall with my performance this weekend. While I definitely could have performed better, it was really nice to see the work that I put in this set actually allow me to produce results. There's a few games I think nerves got the best of me, but I think that won't be as big of an issue as I get more competitive experience. I'd like to thank my friends in my study group like Wajin, Basso, Dace, Minhee, Philip, Malala, and Showtime.
No, that's not what that says. That is not what that says.
Not Showtime.
Yeah, can you read that one again?
Wajin, Basso, Dace, Malala, Philip, Minhee, not Showtime. For all the support.
Okay. There's no way like Showtime contributes to that group. Dude, I feel like Showtime is just a meme player. Like he's more of a meme than Solus, and like honestly, that's pretty fucking hard.
Honestly, I continue to say this whenever Showtime comes up. Some of the best branding in TFT. The amount of conversations Showtime winds up in relative to his capability and performance is mind-boggling.
I mean, he's definitely the most talked about Hearthstone Master Player of all time.
Oh my god!
Like there's no way there's a more talked about Hearthstone Master Player than Showtime.
Agree.
Oh my god! Here's a quote from Kiyu. I don't get it. I practice so much 2-1 opener, but I feel like fuck, I'm so bad in solo queue. I was getting 2-1 reroll spot like 70% of games, and I'm super fucking confident in 2-1 comp, but I have no direction 2-1 50% of my game. I just default Akshan with no direction, so I farm 5th, and I have like 0 Batus. So that's his tournament, which actually sounds very similar to what Soju put out, which was Soju says, I suck. Bro, there were so many games, and I'm just playing for 5th, but there's also games I high roll but don't convert to top 3. Like, what am I even doing? ... Any comments about these 5th place gamers, Kurumx, Robin?
Oh, I think that kind of goes back to like what I said about like people think just because it's a reroll meta means you literally can't click a forecast. Like they're probably giving up like strong boards to like only tunnel on like any reroll angle they can possibly see. So I mean,
I think Soju,
I did that for sure.
I think Soju, like he's doing it. He's gotten a lot better, but like he gets way too creative sometimes, right? Like there's this one game that he was with me. He was 100 HP streaking the entire fucking game. Playing towards Akshan, and he just ends up taking double trouble 3, and he plays like Akshan, Urgot, Sedge, and he goes 5th. And I think if he just played like normal Akshan, like he would have done better. I feel like this kind of like Soju gets too creative sometimes. I feel like But
Yeah,
but
I can agree with that.
yeah, I didn't really watch all their games, so I don't know about Kyun or Soju. But I just know that like Soju threw that one game for sure. And
No
I feel like in
worries.
tournaments you can't throw like. I mean, obviously everyone makes mistakes, right? But I think it's just about if you low roll, try to get like a 5th or 6th, and if you high roll, you need to get that top 2. Like you won't get that chance again because next game you might low roll.
Exactly.
Yeah.
DQA in chat right now says he was 100 HP with double trouble 3 trickster at Wolves and ended up 5th somehow. So yeah, exactly what we talked about. It's a high roll spot that you need to convert. Didn't convert, and that stings. And those games often tell you even more than just like those 8th places, Bryce.
But
Oh, yeah.
at Summit, you remember that game where we were 7-8? I think me and Souls were both like 5 streaking the Krugs that game, right?
Yeah, you guys were super far ahead.
like-
The commentary that game was that it was basically over it.
It was
Legendary.
Yeah, that's still the greatest game of TFT I've ever been a part of.
Oh
like,
man,
for
it was
sure.
great.
Pretty
It was
sure
great.
me and him were literally like not even playing the game after the like stage 2 because it's like it's actually impossible. Like it's actually an impossible like world line.
Yeah, when we went to your guys' boards, we were stunned. Those boards were so bad.
I had last whisper on Jack. My final carry when I
Your
died, by the way, was
boards
last
were
whisper Jack.
so bad.
Yeah.
Milk,
Okay, to be fair though, like everyone sucked at that point, but like last
Yeah,
whisper
true.
Jax.
dude.
Like, come
Milk,
on,
when we
man.
went to the board, Milk couldn't stop saying how bad your guys' boards were over and over again. If you go rewatch the cast, it's just be like, no, you guys, you don't understand. These boards are so bad. We're like, Milk, we know. We're looking at them, bro.
Yeah, credit where credit's due. Milk was calling you guys to go 7-8, and you guys hence did. So
That was like the largest like display of teamwork.
It was.
oh, in
ever
TFT
seen.
history, yes.
I agree.
62. We'll never see that again. We'll never see that again. Speaking of the players that were kind of in that 7-8 range, a player that also top 8'd is Phoenix. I wanted to get some quotes from him. He said, historically, from my experience, I'm terrible on reroll patches, so I'm quite surprised by how I placed this weekend. I wish I didn't play this one KO game that led me going to the most uncontested 8th I've ever seen, and I had to make up with a high roll Zon game and one of the most insane mid games I've ever played in with my life, with some random Lux Kaisa duo carry into a first. And prior to the weekend, I wasn't just trying to get into form because I played day 1 and day 2 and realized that after day 2, I wasn't in form at all. And a lot of decisions being made a whole round later than they should have. Overall, happy that I got 7th with no bonus points going to day 4 in that uncontested 8th game. Also, as a side note, and this is my favorite part, I kept saying that I was going to clear Soju's entire study group to him in DM, and I almost did. It's all good, little man, in parentheses Soju, Legoland. So the context for people who don't know is that Phoenix was originally going to be one of those people to join Soju, Impressive, and Kyun and Milk's group for practice, and then got denied entry. And so there's a little bit of like frenemy, but like
Kyun took
He's
a
in now.
spot,
He's
that's
in
why.
now, though. They after this performance, they're like, okay, you deserve it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
is he?
I
Okay,
saw
okay.
I saw messaging in there earlier.
Wait, how
Okay,
many
so
people
he has-
are
so he has, like,
I think any more than 6 is a grief.
Well, it's not. I mean, I think it is 6 because Dan and I don't count, right? So it's
Oh, okay.
it's Soju,
We're
it's-
filling out a scrim lobby if they need us to. Basically,
we're observers, and we try to be observers in all of this stuff, right?
It's like the thing is, like, the
it's just
people
really
in
good
your
for
group-
us as casters to like have access to what everyone's talking
Yeah.
about and like kind of be friends with everybody. But we don't actively contribute in the same way.
no.
I mean, at the end of those sets, like the people in your group, you're going to be competing versus them to go to Worlds. Like you don't want to make them
Yo,
You don't
Showtime
exactly.
good.
Showtime is here. Yo, I just watched this VOD. That is legit some bullshit.
Wait, what? For what?
I assume us just talking shit. I don't know.
Oh no, honestly, like I was just memeing. Like I think Showtime's
Yeah.
actually pretty good. Because last set I was really impressed by Showtime getting top 5. Like I couldn't fucking believe my eyes when I saw Showtime top 5 on leaderboard.
Hold on, man. You're that is the day 1 Astro Cup champion. 44 points on the board. Put some respect on his name.
Oh, I mean, I don't think that guy has ever popped off in a tournament.
No,
Yes.
he did.
He did.
44 points. They won Astro
You
Cup.
got 44 points on day 1 of Astro Cup, man.
He won Astro Cup.
No, day one. Okay,
He-
one.
if
You're,
Astro Cup was-
you're quoting a day 1 like Disneyland performance? Like who? Like didn't Emily go fucking Giga first?
She
Like,
did. She almost tied Showtime. She almost tied Showtime.
Okay, like I don't think we should be quoting like day 1 and 2 performances as like no flame to like day 1 or 2ers, but like I don't think like that should go on the resume.
I agree. For what's worth, I made Gangly in his stats. I made him like, I was like, you have to find a way to exclude week 1 performances, because there were always people whose stats, like their top 4 percentage of their AVP was really good, but that's because they were always playing the opening weekend of the cups and shitting on people, and then playing the second weekend. So I was like, you gotta exclude that data, man. Like,
I mean, according to the Runeterra Reforged like spreadsheet, you know, after, like going into the tournament, Emily was the best player in NA, right?
Yeah, that is true. She averaged like 220 or something like that.
In fairness to her, as someone who very much felt that, like the patch completely changed. Who knows how good she was on the second patch relative to how good she might have been a beast. I didn't watch the game. She might have been a beast on the first patch and been bad at the second patch. They were so different.
Yeah, of course.
Well, one final quote, and this is a person that didn't finish top 8, but I felt like it was a really good feels good moment, was Appy's. He had a great tournament. Yes, he didn't make it to the final lobby, but had a great performance. So I got a quote from him. He said, as far as my play this weekend, I think I had a lot more fun and was more present in Freljord Cup than I've been in a really long time. I felt like I was finally playing the game the way I wanted to. And that makes me really happy, because I think Appy's is just a player that people want to do well, kind of the rambling type of like good vibes and feels when they do well. And so hopefully we get to see more of that. We want to compare our power rankings and be held accountable. This is something that we do every episode of Reviewed. So Kurum and Robin, we go through it. And the answer is that we got a little bit less than half, or a little bit more than half. We got 8 players. Let me see if I have them all here. So we have Dish Soap, Milk, Setsuko, and then we missed on Wage and Pocky. We got Kurum, Robin, and then we missed on Googum's D-Pay, and then Soju Precedent, DQA, and then we missed on Clear, Boss of Skills, and Darth Noob. And that brings us to our award winner for best ballot of the panel, which is, drumroll,
is it
Mr. Prestevent. Prestevent had the best, because there was a 5-way tie for who had the most correct number of people to make the top 15. But he put Kurum 3rd and DQA 9th, which was the highest by those people who had tied for that point threshold. So a lot of faith from Prestevent, especially in Kurum, particularly one of those extra points. Congratulations.
Wait, who didn't vote Bishop 1? Who was it?
Oh, just
I'll give you one guess. Kurum.
Solus.
No,
he doesn't have a ballot. Okay, here's the ballots. People who voted: Frodan, Bryce, Robin, Nature, Setsuko, Gangly, Soju, Admirable, Clear, Iniko, Goobums, Prestevent, and Kyun. Who do you think didn't vote for him?
Clear.
Yes, man. Correct. It's fucking Clear, man. Fucking Clear. It's fucking
Clear. Put Clear number 1.
No. He put Milk number 1.
Oh, well, you know.
I mean, yeah, Milk's
guess,
a beast, but like, it's not a bad guess, but like, come on, Dish Soap was so clearly the best player. It's actually a joke. Like, he was anyone who's. Oh, and Nathan also did not vote for him.
Like, until Dish Soap has like a single patch where he noticeably struggles on ladder, like you can't not put this guy 1. Like, it's been so long since I've seen this guy struggle on ladder. Like, it's been so fucking long. Like, it's disturbing. Yeah. Like there's no other word. It's just disturbing. Like, can someone like please like just bring this guy's ego down and just fucking send him 888 like in Disneyland? It's like, holy fuck, man. I don't know. Like, no matter what levers Riot Games pulls, like this guy somehow finds a way to fucking go 2.5.
He's too thoughtful and too well-rounded, right? So like when everyone was mostly fucking around on PBE, he was actually like testing a whole bunch of things, and so he started with a huge lead on the field, and he just doesn't give up the lead because he's just constantly like at the forefront, paying attention to what's happening in his game, studying other people's games, making sure he's on top of the meta. He's too clean in his play and his macro decision making. He's the best macro player I've ever seen. I've never seen someone hold all of the correct outs in their head, and he never plays stuff you're not supposed to play. He knows all the stuff that you should be able to play, including niche outs, and then he knows the conditions for them, and it feels like every single time he chooses a line, it's completely correct. It's just so fucking good.
You mean like on ladder, or what do you mean?
No, tournaments ladder, just it doesn't matter. He did. I think he plays them the same way.
I think if he actually like chose the correct line in like 2 more games, like he would have won the tournament over me.
You mean, are we counting the Zed game as a bad line?
Yeah, I am.
Don't worry, there's always Solus to keep Dish Soap humble.
Dish Soap is not that good. It's not his ego is already too big.
I actually think like, especially in tournaments, like line recognition is probably like the most important like part of the game is line recognition, because that's what allows you to start making good decisions.
I think that Dish Soap does have weaknesses to his play, to be clear. Like I think his macro is the best of anyone, but I think his micro is just good. I think he can get outplayed in the micro pretty hard sometimes. But like,
Really?
yeah, I mean it's just good. I would say very good relative to like your average player in a tournament. But if you're comparing him with the other elite players, someone like Milk, when Milk is sweating, Milk's micro is fucking insane. Dish Soap's micro is not insane.
I honestly think
it's actually pretty good.
Bishop is
It's good.
Bishop's biggest strength. I think is honestly like his early game, and I think if Bishop had like a similar strategy to basically like what I had this weekend, which was basically if the fucking game isn't like throwing the reroll line like in your fucking face, you just try to tempo and play for top 4. Like I honestly think Bishop would have outplaced me this weekend. Like I think like he overforced like reroll comps like in some games, and that's like the reason he didn't win. But
No, the reason he didn't win is because of Soulless.
oh, I
Souls.
mean that's just a fucking research diff. No.
That's a monkey turning on his trainer diff.
Oh, I got research diffed a lot this
Like
tournament.
okay, you can't look at Souls' spot and think he's gonna play that. But like,
Unless you're a knower.
but
No,
unless
but
you're a knower, exactly.
Why don't you just ask Soulless in chat or something? Like, yo,
I mean,
You
are
should already
Zed?
know, though, to be fair. There's no one that's going to get between Solus and the units.
Okay,
that
but
he
like
wants.
tier belt Rondo, I wouldn't even know. I feel like if someone's 20, okay, honestly, I mean, I don't know who's 2020 nowadays. I don't even know anyone's
okay, all I was trying to say, like,
Aqua.
of course, like, I'm not trying to flame Bishop. All I was trying to say is, like, just because he's the best player, like, he's still open to making a lot of mistakes.
Totally.
Everyone knows
That's the
that.
thing about
TFT's too hard.
tournaments.
Yeah, TFT is too hard.
I feel that's the thing about tournaments. Like, I feel like every player is like good enough. It's just about who can make the least mistakes.
Yeah, it really is. Like, it's such a small sample size. Like, it's just who can make the least mistakes.
I disagree with the notion that every player is good enough, but maybe at regionals that's true, but
Not every player.
No,
but,
I feel like
at
there's
regionals there's huge gaps.
there's
No,
like 7 players on the final day that can win the tournament. Like,
I feel like there's like 10 players. Like, I feel like there's like 10 players. I feel like the game is not that. I feel like it's pretty narrow. Like, I feel like, or like a lot of like there are some games where Dishop can like player diff someone. You know, like that one game he's supposed to go 18 win third with like the Kaisa Gwen like long distance pals.
Yep.
But I feel like this set or like the last patch, some lines are so narrow. Every player is going to play the exact same line, slam the exact same items, go for the same exact items on carousel. That it's just about It's just about like making less mistakes on like on your roll down and like positioning. I think, but I think like the lines are like too narrow.
That is patch
At least
dependent,
for last
though,
patch.
right? Like,
Yeah, it is
I
patch
thought that this
dependent,
patch was a much higher variance patch, and I think it'd be a lot of it because of what you're talking about, right? Like,
you also just have to. Yeah.
I feel like if you get Darius Cat on from Orb, a lot of players are going to play the same way. If you get Aksham from Orb with the sword, like the top 10 or top 20 players are going to play the exact same way. There's not that much variance to it. Like, there's not much difference to it. That's why I think I always remember this when Sock said that, like, that's why he likes to have 4 Chosen, because Chosen made the game so wide, because every player will play, like, if there's no Chosen, you know, like, this certain shop, like, most of the players are going to pick the same units, go for the same items on carousel, you know, like, stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
because like the nature of the game, like you have to build up and make econ like while building up. So you have to commit early if you want to make good decisions. And yeah, like
That's
if some fucking guy just randomly fucking contests you from left field, it's like all of a sudden you're playing for 5th at best. And I mean, yeah,
I think it depends a lot on the patch and also like the relative skill of the other players. Like,
I agree.
I almost got day 1 or day 3 because of like 2 games. Okay, one game where I had Tricksters Talia on 2-1, and then Degree and Emily both pivot in from like really, really terrible spots. They went 8-7, and then I went 6. But like
the
triple
6-7-8 triple.
yeah, and then like. It happened in like another game too. I don't remember the specifics, but like I do think like you can have like a very, very clear direction, and then like you still have to get lucky. Like people have to, like, you have to you have to kind of rely on other people to play correctly in tournaments.
Yeah.
It depends. Some
like,
people's
really-
play styles
especially
bet on
in
people to
reroll
play
meta.
badly.
To get the
Like,
best results, you have to.
Especially in reroll meta, it's
Yeah.
way more punishing in reroll meta.
Because I mean, you're just
In,
gonna lose like 3 points on the day for fun just because like one guy decides I don't give a fuck. Like I don't give a fuck. Like I feel like playing Zed, so I'm just gonna play Zed. Like you just get one guy, and it is what it is. Like you hopefully can turn that game that would have been a first into a fucking fifth or a fourth.
I went up in a Rek'Sai spot in the opening weekend, and I'm like scouting around, and someone is pivoting into Rek'Sai into the fucking line, and I was molding so hard. I was like, this line is fucking terrible. I'm only playing because I felt like I had to. There is just no way from your spot you are pivoting into this dog shit to contest Rek'Sai. Like there is fucking no way.
I think when you get like Giga Grief like that though, like your goal should absolutely just be to avoid bot 2.
yes.
Because like bot 2s in tournaments, like it's really hard to come back. Like if you're trying to win, like you can't bot 2. You can't afford to bot 2. Mm-hmm. It's too devastating.
Wait, Kurum, I have a question.
What?
The final day, did you make any major mistakes that cost you points? Do you think?
Probably.
Because
I could have won the 1v1 versus you, but I was already reading my chat.
There was, also, that was so lucky. Like I won the 30%.
Oh yeah, it was at 33% Zephyr. I rewatched.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
all I had to do was like try to Zephyr you in like any round, and I win. So
I made one huge mistake that final.
I was like AFKing my Zephyr backline, reading my fucking chat. So
I guess I couldn't have won anyways, because like if I made a mistake, like you probably made a mistake, and that's probably at one or 2 points. But yeah, like this game I didn't play 4 multicaster, and I'm pretty sure it cost me like 4 points.
I mean, I think I for sure made some mistakes, but I don't think anything cost me like 4 points. Like I think I won by so much that I still would have won if everything else is the same.
I wonder if like Dish Sober DQA like made any like major mistakes that cost him points.
I mean, just to mention that I did.
I think I chose all the right lines on the final day, which is like probably the main reason that I won.
Huge, yeah.
Because even if I do make mistakes within the line, if I chose the right line, I'm probably already placing like almost at my max. This
meta felt to me like 2-1 was often the most important turn of the game.
Yeah, I mean the last patch, you basically need to know like from your items and augments what you can play, right? What reroll comps you can play or what forecast comp you can play, and then you scout and see what people are playing and see if there's anything open for you.
Yep.
And then like you commit to that one, kind of, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people this week controlled their games as well, just forcing barrel lines that just straight up are not there. Mm-hmm. Like they don't exist, and they just force it anyway. And if you don't fucking pyro their ass off, it's basically the equivalent of like. You remember the last game where I called Zed and muted, and then you played Zed with a single IE and opened?
Yeah, I had to though.
Like if I stay in Zed there, like it's basically the equivalent of like me staying in Zed there. Like I saw a lot of players, they don't give a fuck. Like they don't give a fuck. I don't know why. Like I feel like they should give a fuck.
No, you're a good player. I
think they might give a fuck, but they straight up don't know how.
No. Sometimes it's investment for the future. Like Solus is going belt tier Rod Zed because no motherfucker is contesting him again, right? Like no one is fucking playing that. Like if he's on the line, he's on the fucking line. What are you gonna do?
Oh, I think
he doesn't give a fuck, and he's proven it.
People will probably just like observe his play more if he's like only forcing from any spot. Like you just go look at Solus VODs, because like the thing is like on ladder, this guy was actually pivoting a lot, and day 1 and day 2 he was pivoting a lot. Like he didn't play that much Zed. It was only until the second half of day 3 and 4 where he was hard forcing like every single fucking game only Zed.
No, he is a pivoter for sure.
Look, I'm pretty sure people care. It's just that like they feel like they want to gamble the reroll line and get luckier than the other person. They don't think they can get a higher AVP unless they do that. You know, like they don't have. Like I could sometimes.
I mean, I can understand it if your spot is too fucking good, but like I feel like if your spot is too fucking good, you should top 4 regardless.
Yeah, that's true. Like like if your spot is bad for it, you should definitely pivot. Like tier Rod belt.
Like say I can test you Zed.
Back to the same thing.
Say I can test you Zed final game for whatever fucking reason. You're going top 4 of that game regardless. You're not going to win probably, but you're still going top 4. Like your spot was fucking insane.
Yeah. Like I knew you were gonna pivot though. That's why, because like I was like, there's no way you don't pivot. My spot's fucking cracked, and like I don't think you had the items for it or something. And then like I was like, yeah, you're probably.
Oh, as
pivot.
soon as Belt's cloak dropped, I already knew I wasn't playing Zed.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, I need to play for first. So like even if I went 8th, I didn't really care. So I just took the first or 8th line.
But like I
that.
do think like there is like this weird dynamic, especially in tournaments, like especially Robin. Like Robin does this all the fucking time, where like you basically just pre-call your comp, and like if it fucking works out, you're a lot less likely to be contested. So like as soon as I got the fucking Zed, like I'm just calling it, and then if fucking BF glove drops, I'm chilling, you know?
Yeah. But I will scout and see if who's
and like this part of tournaments, by the way, and like even ladder is like something I fucking hate. And it's like part of what I fucking hate about reroll metas is that it's actually correct to like do this cringe shit where you like call and mute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's an edge.
It is
so.
very correct.
It's the fucking worst, but it's actually correct as fuck, which is like really fucking annoying.
All right. Well, that was a really good discussion. We're going to move on to the next portion of the show called Agree, and we're going to put out some statements. And this one's inspired by some of the statements we saw around the community. And it's kind of along the lines of what you just talked about, so I'll just throw it out. This first one's inspired by DQA from my conversation with him today, which is, despite the, quote, high variance patch, there was a massive gap between the top 20 players and the rest of the field for the Freljord Cup. Do we feel like that is
top
true?
20?
Top 20,
20 like too
To be
high.
clear, not the people who finished top 20. The idea is the best 20 players.
best 20
right?
players, right? The established names.
Probably one of the best 20 players, but got had bad variance on day one, kind of.
A massive gap. Okay. Don't we need a list for this?
I feel like I agree.
Just sentiment. It doesn't have to be precise. It could be 18,
This was
16 players.
this was the most stacked final day of any tournament I ever played. Like usually, a lot more people get fucking like varianced out of day 3. Like even if they're like better than like they're obviously like just because you're better than like half the field doesn't mean you're gonna go day like final day, right? But like in this tournament, it actually did mean that, which is weird. Because
it's unusual because we're so used to the wild results in TFT. Robin, you said you agree. You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I agree because like when you play on ladder, you can tell like, I mean, when you can tell like literally there's 8 players, right? Like there's like 6 players that don't know what the fuck they're doing, and I feel like ladder was like pretty easy. You can get top 4 like pretty easily. Also, yeah, like I think Bishop said the final day had a lot of like, not necessarily known in names are always like the best players, right? But I feel like the final day had all good players, and I feel like I don't know if this is true, but like, is this the first tournament where like the top 4 were all like relatively like strong known players? I'm not really sure.
Because I feel like there's always like had that. Yeah, we usually.
I feel like there's always like two or three random people. I mean, I don't want to say random, but like.
I mean, there were still random people. Like I don't know who Vanilla XD is, but that guy almost won the tournament.
Yeah, we've had people who were like up and comers, right? When we had like Awasian, Boss of Skills, Malala, that it feels like those people are like kind of known, but not the most popular names in North America at the time. So yeah, it's been rare that we see it be like this, where it's like such a high density amount of top players. Bryce, where do you sit on this?
I agree, but I think this is just a set and forget agree. I don't know that there's ever. Yes, this was a higher variance patch, but the TFT always leaves so much room for skill expression, and there's always a pretty clear gap between the top 20 and the rest of the field.
I think
ability.
The fact that like the meta changed so much also like almost works. It works a lot better in your favor if you're a good player.
It definitely does because you have more,
and if you're a full-time streamer,
adjusting,
if you can play the game full time,
I had like 50 games on the previous patch leading up to the tournament. I had, I don't know, 15 on.
Maybe that's why.
Tournament.
Yeah, maybe that's why. Like all the full-time,
I had like 10
players
on the new patch, but the thing is like. I was like laying in bed, like studying for 10 hours straight.
Yeah, my games were basically my play, right? Like, I mean, I could watch some during workday, like on second monitor type of vibes.
Right.
Well, chat mostly agrees, almost a 75-25 split. So I think a lot of people were very much in line, and I agree with it as well. I think for the most part, I noticed that there just seemed to be a lot cleaner of a play, and there's a gap between people that, even some people that got results. I felt like there was a lot of moments where I was just head scratching, but It is what it is.
I mean, there was a moment during the co-stream. So we were watching someone. They were like fast nining. They were pivoting. They had Belveth 2, and they put fucking tricksters on the Belveth 2. Man, I was so fucking.
Who did that?
So tilted. They had items too. They had like a gun
good
blade they
Delta.
could put on the Belveth.
Who did that? Who did that?
I don't remember, but I know
man.
exactly what Bryce is talking about.
And I was just like, man, I took Giga 8th on day 3 in this tournament. This person is at the end of this tournament. They just did this. I can't believe they just did this. Like,
I mean, it happens
all the time.
Like it can be correct, but like
I promise
in that
you,
spot, it was not
correct.
correct. In that spot, it was not correct.
It was not.
I think they lost
correct,
right after they did that too. So
yeah, it was so bad, man.
all good. Our second degree is something that's similar to what Dish Soap had tweeted out. Again, this is inspiration from some of the conversations we saw, which was overall, this is the weakest that the North America ladder has been. And I just set a time frame. So I just put the past year, like basically 2023 going into like maybe the end of set 7. The quality average challenger player is much lower. What do we think? Let's start off with Robin.
Dude, Dish Soap got so much hate for this tweet. It's so funny.
Yeah, which was so stupid. It was mostly banter. I have no idea why he got backlash for this tweet.
It's because TFT is getting more popular now, so there's like more like normies. But anyways, weakest the NA ladder has been in the past year.
I think it's important to ground this in when he said it, which was the week ago patch, right? So not the current patch,
2 weeks
not
ago.
the patch we just played on. The B patch is when
The lottery patch?
The patch that people consider the lottery patch, yes.
The Kaisa lottery patch?
Yeah, that's the patch. I disagree with the characterization, but yes, that's the patch he was talking about.
Sorry,
No, you're good.
I don't know. I have no idea. I can't disagree or agree. I don't know how strong ladder is, but yeah, I don't know how strong ladder is.
I have like it's a very clear agree for me for what it's worth.
Oh,
Why though? Why is that though?
interesting.
I don't know. Like why would it be weaker?
Because everyone treated that patch like it was the lottery when it wasn't the fucking lottery, man. I mean, obviously those two, the Azir Lux and the Kaisa Yasuo lines were the strongest lines in the game, okay? But there were a lot of other lines that people should be open to. They weren't. Lines like Vertical Sorks or like Akshan was really good that patch, for example. And like I was the only I think I was the only person I saw playing Akshan in the whole in all my 12 games over the course of the first weekend. And there were a bunch of lines like that people need to be open to. And when people played those lines, I was watching people who I thought were good at the game on streams, watching them do these roll downs, and they're only buying the exact set of units that they need for the line. Like if they're playing fucking challengers, they're not buying anything other than the specific challenger units. Like they're not buying Gwyn, they're not buying did my camera shut off? Okay. They're not buying Gwyn, they're not buying Nasus, they're like not building flexible boards, they're not willing to play like 4 challengers in that spot. My cat is like ruining my
All right. While Bryce picks his cam.
Hold on, no, I'm back.
Okay,
So
okay.
like they were just like playing super fucking narrowly and linearly, and I've never seen the ladder like that before, where like the high elo players like forgot how to play TFT. And so, like, the reason why I felt like I had a huge edge on that patch is because I didn't turn off my brain, and I would play board. Like, I would just like buy Nasus and Gwyn and play them on my board, right? And like, it didn't matter what board I was playing; those are good units. You could play around them. Like, I played, Lux, Kaisa, duo carry that tournament. I played like, Gwyn for Juggernaut, Fast 9 that tournament. Like, there were a bunch of ways that you could play the game that people weren't open to at all. It was bizarre how bad people were at that patch.
All right,
Can I add?
Oh yeah, go ahead, Robin, and then Kurum go.
I finally remember when he tweeted this. I definitely agree. I remember now. When he tweeted this, a lot of people were giving Dish Soap shit because because he's saying like everyone's playing the same. What Bryce is saying on level 7 roll down, they were clicking these specific 7 units that was in the board, right? Like Lux is here. They were selling like 2-star units for like a Garen 1, whatever, stuff like that, right? And then that's what Dish Soap was talking about. But everyone gave him shit because they're like, bro, I just looked at your low chest. You're playing the same exact comps. But that's not what Dish Soap was talking about. He's talking about like getting to that comp.
Yes.
Getting there, people are selling their 2-star upgraded units for 1 and then playing 1 stars, but like of that comp, right? And that's what Dish Soap was saying, like why everyone sucked.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree, because like they're doing that, and like everyone was just like copying the comp list, I guess, and then playing like 1-star units, like getting a weaker board, building a weaker board maybe. basically.
All right. So we got 2 agrees. Kurum, what do you think?
I'm still trying to remember what patch it was. It was like Kaisa Azir lottery
Yeah.
patch. Like, it
was the one we had to
Oh.
roll on 3-5 or even 3-3 sometimes.
Oh, I like that patch a lot because I feel like people had like super weak boards until like stage 4.
Yeah.
So you could get like a lot of free top 4s. Was it like the weakest any ladder's ever been in the past year?
Not ever been, but like it was like a bit. I just picked a defined period of time, which was a year.
Dude, the weakest NA ladder's ever been is actually set 4, beginning of set 4, when Sox showed everyone like how to play the game.
Yeah.
But was it the weakest NA ladder's ever been in the past year? I mean, I don't know, probably. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was like fucking memeing with this tweet.
He was.
So, like,
Yeah.
he was basically just like ego memeing. Yeah, because like the thing is like like everyone played such shit boards until like stage 4 where they like fucking send 0 that yeah, like people would just
They send 0 when they don't have to, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
They agree when they don't have to, and
Like I'm victim of that. I'm pretty sure I adopted this stupid playstyle for a bit too. Like I
We all
sold
did,
everything
I
for
think.
Kaisa 1, Yasuo 1. He probably saw me play and tweeted this probably.
I mean, it's Milk's fault. Milk was out there tricking noobs every day on stream, only buying
As he
like the
does,
very
as he
specific set
does.
of units.
I mean, the thing is, like, the 2 comps use like very similar items. So if you just like buy carries and you roll down, you don't have to play like those 2 like specific 8 units.
And they
I think
mix
that's
and
all. I
match
think that's all.
quite
I think
well.
that's all Bishop was saying. Like,
Yeah.
that you don't have to play these like 8 specific units, 7 specific units like every single game. Like you can play like Kaisa and Azir together. Like it's fine if you have like a shit ton of like AP attack speed, like backline items. Like it's fine. Like you just play like whatever you hit.
Yeah, like you item holds Vel'Koz too, and before like the Lux Azir board, you know, like Sorkin to whatever, you know.
I like it. Milk in chat, shout out to him. We have one final agree, which is a little bit from left field, but I was curious what people thought. I thought about this one right before the show. China has started using heart rate monitors in competition. North America and the other regions should adopt this for high stakes competitions as well. What they do, for people who don't know, is that there's an overlay above the webcam that shows their heart rate. And there's people who are cool as a cucumber. 60-second, always between 80 and 90. Doesn't really skip a beat. But then there's players like, I don't know, like Shunga and Liu Li and all these other really good players who hit like 140, 150, 160, 170 during high
170?
intense situations.
You okay?
And
Are
it
you
makes
okay?
it really interesting. So you already know where I stand. I say agree because I love the pure entertainment value, but I'm curious what the players say. Let's start off with Kurum.
Oh, I mean, I'm like hard agree because I think Cam should be required. Like I'm kind of surprised Cam is still not required.
Agreed.
At this point of
Thank you,
competitive
Kurum.
TFT. Like we need to like make it more entertaining for viewers. Like, dude, watching like some guy win a fucking tournament with no Cam is kind of lame, no? Like the thing is, like, I'm not willing to lead by example because like I want to give myself every single edge that I possibly can. If I play better off Cam and no one else has to use Cam, I'm not going to use Cam either. But the thing is, like, if Cam is required, I feel like it's actually a buff to me because like I'm super comfortable on Cam from being on Cam every single day, and like it'll also make like the game like more like more, the viewers can connect to the players more if they see their fucking facial expressions like during the game. So like I'm all for like more. Like this is like about like connecting more to like the players' emotions, right? Like this question.
Exactly.
Like I'm all for anything that includes that. So yeah, agreed.
Love it. Great answer. Robin, what do you think?
I just want to say, me and Soju are paving the way for Cam. Like we don't have to use Cam, but I'm pretty sure we are the only two. Okay, honestly, I think a lot of players actually use Cam, like lesser known players, you know. Like
Yeah.
Ramcam used to always use Cam, right?
Like me.
Yeah, or Bryce. Yeah, I know, like Wasian. I think Wasian uses Cam too, right? Or I'm not really sure.
Wade uses
Yeah, so
Cam, Abby's uses Cam. Some, a lot of times, some of the even like Bosso skills uses Cam, stuff like that.
Yeah, like no one has to use Cam, right? And then like I probably play better like without a Cam too, but I just want to I want the viewer experience to be better. Also, I kind of want to get used to being on Cam because I know inevitably in the future it's probably going to be required.
I mean,
So I
so
wanna
Cam every day.
That's true.
Yeah. So
right?
I mean, in tournament it's kind of different. I feel like
On tournament it's different. Like the reason I don't use Cam in tournament is because I mean, if no one else has to, why would I? Like possibly Like if it could even make me place like 0.5 average placement lower, like why would I do it?
Yeah. I mean, I did it to try to get used to it, I guess, because I feel like on cam in tournament is probably different than streaming. So I've been doing it to get used to it, and I'm pretty used to it by now. Also, I feel like I played better with cam on, because I remember at Worlds, like there was like no cam or no chat or something, and I was just like in my bedroom, like super quiet and like kind of like it's kind of weird. But anyways, I agree with this. I think
Wait, was cam not required at Worlds?
so like. You don't like when I played Worlds. You don't stream on Twitch. You like stream on like. You just have to use your cam, but like. But it's like not on Twitch, basically.
A private RTMP feed that they can pull.
Okay. I mean, hopefully by set 10, like everyone is required to use camera if you want to play in like day 3.
Yes.
Of the turn.
Please. Please tell Wisdom this.
They didn't even grab camps from people who had them. They were just because it was tournament realm and like not everyone had them, so they weren't. I don't think there were any player cams.
All right. Well,
but I agree with this. I think people are gonna meme me though. But like I'm about to get a heart attack or something. Like
yeah, my heart rate spikes for sure.
That's great though. That's great. Honestly, it ended up defining certain players. Like there's one player I didn't really know much about, but he's always really calm. And there's another player that I didn't know. He was playing Earth as his main legend in tournament. He's the only Earth player in the entire field, and his heart rate was always spiking. And so it was really fun to like watch that and make that part of the storyline.
I think it'd be really funny, like you get a tome on Krugs and your heart rate just spikes, or like,
or think fast, roll down.
Oh yeah.
Good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, let's wrap up the show with a fantasy score recap. Where we get to see how well we did with our picks. And despite not spending his entire budget by $14, he undershot it. Kiyun ended up winning by 5 points, barely, thanks to good performances by DQA and apparently himself, because Soju did really well. Or sorry, not himself. With Soju, he didn't perform nearly as well himself. For me, I lost by 5 points, but this is actually one of the closest fantasies that we've had in quite some time. In dead last stands Mr. Bryce Blom. Bryce, any comments?
Honestly, I loved my draft. Like, I'm really surprised that Pocky and Weijin did not make day 4 and do well. I thought both of those guys were going to have really good tournaments. So that's TFT.
You still made the steal of the draft somehow. Soulless, $1, 52 points. The ratio on this man is outrageous.
It was known as soon as I got Soulless for $1, it was fucking over. He's the best $1 pick in the history of the draft.
Isn't Soulless kind of underrated as well?
No,
really.
Every time he's ever been, here's the thing about Soulless, man. Every time he's rated highly and you spend a lot of money on him,
bro, I spent money on Soulless.
Dead last. Yeah.
For LCQ, it was like the weakest field of all time. He went 16 out of 16.
Yeah. You want Soulless is kind of like Gwen. If you expect him to carry, it's a fucking disaster. But if he's just like on your board and you didn't invest that much in him, he pops off.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Anyways, I want to give a special thank you to Kurum. Like I said, I was willing to pay way more money, but I got you for $8 and you crushed it, man. Couldn't be more proud. Well done. And of course, more fantasy in the future. Can't wait to see it.
I mean, Robin, thank you. You got like half my team's points.
Robin
we're dead last.
How did I get more points than Kurum though?
It combined day 1 and day 2 scores.
Combined score.
Right?
Oh,
I went 17 on day 3.
Yep.
So
I'm not Robin. You were a beast. You and Dish Soap.
Yeah, you tied Dish Soap in points across the weekend, Robin. So well done.
How do you guys get gapped by a guy with no bonus points? By the way, 4 point
Dude,
gap.
bonus points is fucking. Bonus points is a curse, man. Like it's actually a curse.
I mean, I honestly think they're pretty fake. Like, you lose all your bonus points in 1.4.
No, it's big. It's actually big.
Like they're all gone in 1.4.
Yeah.
But just don't bop 4 and then it's fine.
Yeah, just don't bop 4.
Fellas, it's been a fantastic episode. I know you guys usually don't enjoy the reviewed, but this was a great new vibe that we brought in with experienced veterans, but we do got to call it, especially because I know Karen's going to go stream. So Robin, any final words before we end the show?
Oh, thanks for having me as always. And when is the next tournament? Like in a month?
No,
2
it's
weeks.
more like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Huh? Oh,
so weekend 1. Weekend 1 is in 2 weeks.
Oh wait, when's the next snapshot? Oh fuck, I should actually
in like 10 days, basically.
Oh fuck, I should actually try to climb.
Yeah. Just make sure. Go to giantslayer.tv/.
Wait, you're guaranteed to day 2 already, so you're chilling.
Oh, nice. I can jerk off.
Yeah.
Okay,
we
but,
can both
like
jerk off.
I still want to climb like for like okay, dude. Honestly, like the study group that's like trying to get like a fucking Twitter screenshot as their fucking main goal for the set. Like I
No,
kind of want.
we can't let him. We can't let him, guys. We can't.
No,
let him.
like I kind of want to sit him down.
Oh, I'm sitting in.
Oh,
I
the
love
rivalry
it. That
builds.
rivalry. It's great. It's
I'm
great.
just gonna use that as my motivation to take Ladder seriously.
No, I also wanted to do a 1, 2, 3, 4 with us, but then I looked at fucking DQA. He's at 1K LP, so I was like, okay, never mind.
Oh, I'm at 1100 right now, but I can climb to 1500 pretty fast. So
I would
Okay.
like a group ladder wager because they want to wager you guys so super hard, but you can't do it
Yeah.
in an official tournament. So some other thing,
Wait,
maybe
why?
ladder
Why?
makes sense because
Wait,
there's
you can?
collusion incentives and
Yeah,
things
you
like
can
that.
because there's like it could create incentives to win trade other people on
Exactly.
your team. It's
Wait,
the
but-
correct. It's the correct decision. It's a
No,
bummer,
like,
but it's-
what if like a tournament that we host, like not like a
oh,
official.
if you
Oh,
do
I
do
am down to organize that with you if
Oh,
you
yeah,
want to
yeah,
make
like
that happen.
like a
Do that, like, for
60
real?
like a 4v4
Like
v4 or something.
that
I
would
don't
be
know.
fucking hype. We could produce it, cast it. That would be super.
No,
fun
we
if
should
you
do
guys
that, and then
wanted
like yeah, and then we just like everyone just like dishes it or like puts in into the pot.
yeah. It's a buy-in winning
We
team
can do
takes
it as a
all.
practice event going into like mid-set or something like that. So you guys are taking it seriously for warm-up, or we can just do it as a side thing. But
We,
yeah,
we could
really.
easily and we've been talking about experimenting with a bunch of things, but we could theoretically like try to crowdfund the prize pool a bit. Like you guys all put in money, and then people like could contribute
Oh,
to the
yeah,
prize
yeah.
pool.
All right. Well, we got a new idea to cook up, and we'll see what ends up happening. In the meantime, Kurum, any final words and thoughts?
No. Thanks for having me.
Lovely. Always a pleasure to have you, my man. And you're gonna. I don't think we can edit and censor this episode. We have Kurum X on. We just let it fly. Bryce, any final words and thoughts?
Fun episode. You guys are beasts. I'm really glad you did so well, and I hope that the rest of the set goes as well as the start of the set did. So you guys at Worlds.
All right, sounds good. Kurum, kick on the stream. I'll be able to raid you immediately. And that does it for this episode. If you missed any part of the show, check out our stuff, youtube.com/@DTIYDK, or follow us on all of our audio-only platforms at anchor.fm/DTIYDK. For Frodan, Bryce, Kurum, and Robin, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time for more TFT action. Have a good night.